In my last video, I talked about coming up with an idea for your novel, and if you didn't watch that one, then why would you click on a video with number 2 in the title? Anyways, this is my book, Long Lost, and today I'm going to be talking about how I turned my idea into a full-blown story. I mentioned last time that one of the first things I do is expand each chapter into their own individual summary, and continue onward. The thing to do now is just expand, expand, expand. Now, a lot of people think that the easiest way to write is just in chronological order. From start to finish, pen to paper, no planning, go. But this is typically a very bad thing because of the side effect of writer's block! Because you will inevitably end up hitting a wall and giving up. Writer's block is the leading cause of death among writers. I know from experience. The best way I have to avoid this is knowing the basic storyline of your book first. Kind of like making your very own spark notes. And once you do this, expand it. Here's an example. From my book, of course. One of the scenes worked out like this. She goes back in the car, her stepdad comes in, her mom wants to say something, but surprisingly he shuts her down. So I expanded that sentence, giving more visual examples of what was going on and giving more context behind the scene. Here's what it looked like in the final version. Scarlett didn't respond to her mother. Her eyes began to fill with tears again. She peered out of the window and saw her stepdad begin to walk out of the building and toward the car. And of course, we add the main thing that happens in this scene. As he stepped in, Scarlett's mom began to speak. "So what do you think?" "Shut up, Julia," her stepdad barked. Her mother was taken aback by this and stopped speaking in her tracks. One of the main methods I use is what I'm calling the super awesome patent-pending writing checklist. Where yes, you write these very basic sentences into a checklist. So you can expand in chronological order if you want to, or you can just do any order you want because you know what's gonna happen anyway. Also, checklists are just fun, and they can help you reach a goal a lot faster than if you were just running around with no real plan. The exact way I did it for my book is like so. Writing checklist. Chapter 1. Scarlett is writing a journal about her day so far. School is almost over, but she isn't excited to spend the summer at home in her household. She talks about a sleepover that she is going to, behind her mother's back. She puts her notebook down because she has to go to a dance class. Her mother is already in the car. Scarlett goes to the car. Her mother makes a remark about Scarlett's appearance, and they get into an argument, as Scarlett feels offended by this. Her mother continues to berate her, and other people as well, as she drives. They continue to drive to the dance studio. When they arrive at the studio, Scarlett's mother continues to make rude comments to people from the inside of the car. Scarlett calls her mother out for her rudeness. They enter another argument because of this. The argument begins to target Scarlett about her personality, abilities, and appearance. Scarlett becomes overwhelmed by this and storms out of the car. Her friends come to her care. Chapter 1 is a fairly short chapter that sets up the relationship between Scarlett and her mother. We see the harsh words that come out of her mother's mouth about how she feels toward her daughter. And we also see how Scarlett feels about this treatment. And now that we have a basic checklist of items based on what our story is going to be about, we just need to keep expanding, like I said previously. We'll take the basic sentence. Her mother is already in the car. And we'll see how I expanded it with some more context in the actual novel. And it also shows a little bit of fear about Scarlett toward her mother. This is the final version. Her mother had already been waiting in the driveway for her, many minutes before necessary, as if trying to create something to be mad about. Scarlett knew that wasting time dilly-dallying would only make her mother more irritable, and not lessen her time at dance. However, she continued bumbling about her kitchen, looking for a water bottle, eyeing the half-eaten lasagna she made for dinner, sitting in the garbage. She eventually left the house, recognizing her mother's annoyed glare before getting into the passenger seat of the car. There you go! Now you know how to expand your writing. Hooray! Except you still don't know how to write a good story. Maybe. One of the things I always hated in school when learning how to write is when teachers would say, "Oh, you need to follow a very strict guideline. There's a beginning, middle, and end. All have to go with one another. Tension has to rise. There has to be a climax. There has to be conflict. Nobody cares if there's no conflict." Granted, does my book rise with tension throughout and end with an absolutely world-class shocking twist at the end that'll make everyone's hearts fly out of their bodies? Yes. But these strict rules should not completely dictate what you want your writing to be about. This is how people become trapped and bored. But if you do want to follow these guidelines to make your writing cohesive, then follow it in a very simple and standardized form. Start with flow action and slowly start to build in some more context and new characters, things that people say, important conversations that people have to make the reader understand what's going on. And hit your reader in the face with that climax. And then tone it back down for a nice, happy ending. Unless you want it to be sad, that's okay. And now we get to talk about all of the fun, writing, detail-y stuff. Jeepers! One of these is side plots. I'm going to use the very professional example of Family Guy as an example. In each episode of Family Guy, Peter, Lois, and a lot of the other characters are usually doing their own main thing, providing a main storyline for the episode. Meanwhile, Brian and Stewie are off in a different universe, fighting monkeys or fighting sad carrots or something. And most of the time, the two plots in the episode come together towards the end and provide some sort of main idea or main storyline for the entire episode. Most stories do this. In my novel, the big climax comes from a culmination of various different storylines that come together to create a large, oh my god moment. If these side plots weren't there, the reader might have just gotten confused. Or maybe it would have been a little whoa, and that's about it. You don't want that to be your reader's reaction to your book. And of course, we can't talk about writing without talking about literary elements. Yeah, believe me, they're extremely boring sounding to me too. But unfortunately, I think your English teacher might have been right about these. Metaphors, foreshadowing, personification, hyperbole, point of view, first person, second person, third person, character voice, imagery. Now, I'm not going to go into too much more detail about these because, well, you should have paid attention more in high school, instead of hanging out under the bleachers with girls, Kyle. But I do want to talk about character voice, because it is something that can really make or break your novel. Let's say you have two characters talking to one another, an old lady from England and a young boy from New York City. Would this dialogue make any sense to you? Hello, old lady, would you get out of my way?
Why would you say that to me? You shouldn't talk to old people like that.
Hey, Grandma, move the hell out of my way!
I beg your pardon, sir. I do not appreciate the disrespect you have shown to the elderly just now.
Only you can decide. And now that you know all of these various elements, just start writing! Literally, just go! You have your idea. You know how to make a general story. You know how to expand your writing into a cohesive and detailed story. So just start! Oh, did you finish already? Great, so now we can move on to the next step. Watching my next video, that is, about editing, extra details, artwork, publishing, profiting, becoming a billionaire, all that and more in the next video. If it's out yet. See ya!